it's terrible to watch. And if we were a team that were incredibly solid in defence and had a Corey Blackett-Taylor to hit with long balls on the counter, then maybe we would be all right. But we don't have Blackett-Taylor. We've got Kieran Morris, has never been able to run. We've got Connor, who we love, but he's never had pace, really. Um, I mean, Norris was zero pace there. The only player with pace is Saunders, but he can't trap a medicine ball. So we, I, yeah, there's how much you. I think it's fair enough. You look across any of our midfielders and forward players, and you ask any Rovers fan honestly to say, will any of them get more than the 5 goals you mentioned? And I don't think a single one of them will. So, yet again, top of the shopping list in January is going to be a striker, of course, but they come at a premium. Um, and what we cannot afford is another Josh Davison or George Donnelly or any of the Coyote Odujayi, any of the long list of absolutely dreadful strikers that we've had, because we need goals. If there are no goals in this team, then we're going to be in a serious relegation battle. You look at the bottom two, and everyone says, "Oh, the bottom two are terrible." Fine, but you know that Carlisle are not that far away, and you also know that with their owners, they are going to spend in January. Um, I think one of the fundamental problems at the moment is that we have no idea where we are as a football club. We have no idea what's going on with the takeover, and everything feels in limbo. When the takeover happens, will Nigel be kept on? Will he be got rid of? We don't know. Who's involved in the takeover? We don't know. What is the time frame for it to happen? We don't know. Will it happen before January? Well, we can get some players in. No idea. So we are playing a waiting game, and the club is going absolutely nowhere until this takeover happens. So yeah, it's rubbish. Has anyone enjoying the games this season? Has anyone going to any of these games thinking, yeah, we'll win today, even at home? Two of my really good friends who got season tickets, they were away for the Walsall game. So I saw us beat Newport, and it was my first win, first game, and first win in November. It was their first win in November, and they're season ticket holders. So, where's the entertainment? Where's the value? You talk about Mark's a businessman, yeah, but where's the value? Who next season is thinking, God, I can't wait to get a season ticket now? The whole club needs a shot in the arm from somewhere, and the only way that's going to happen is with new investment because at the moment it's so stale. The style of play is horrendous, and the squad looks. Not only does half the squad look National League, some of it looks National League North. Um, I mean, say Davison Saunders, is anyone in the National League after them? Or are they more likely to end up at, Southport or Chester? This is the level that we're shopping at the moment. So yeah, it's. I mean, that's what I say. Everyone's holding their breath until this takeover happens, and we really don't know where we are as a football club, and more importantly, where we're going until we have some clarity about that. And I appreciate there are non-disclosures and this, that, and the other. And of course, the club can't jeopardize any potential deal by revealing details like that. But unfortunately, that means that we are just treading water and in danger of sinking.
And it's striking me more and more with each game that Tranmere play just how big a job Rob Apter did last season. Because basically the tactics this year are exactly the same as they were last year, except last year they had an absolute box office player who was far too good for League Two, who had the ability to carve a team open and put the ball in the back of the net. They're trying to play exactly the same way this year, except they don't have that player. They tried it with Patrick at the start of the year, but other teams got wise to it. And I think, as well as that, so teams have maybe doubled up on him a touch, but also I think his performances have dropped off slightly as well. So you've got that factor, but I'm trying to play the same way without anywhere near the same quality of player who got them out of that hole last year. And Balahoon was on this podcast in the summer, and he basically said Apter kept Tranmere up last season. They knew it. And they've tried the same thing this year, but without that quality of player, and it's just going the same way. And one thing I criticised them for last year was their inability to draw games where they played badly, but you were playing against a poor opposition, and you'd expect them to at least maybe get a point out of that game. I think they only drew about 5 or 6 games over the entirety of last season. Didn't few draws. They've obviously
Yeah,
had the Salford one. There was a 1-1 against Swindon. There
Swindon,
was 0-0 against Port Vale, and there was a
MK,
0-0 against who was the 0-0 on the opening day of the season
Notts
against
County.
Notts County. So there have been draws this year, and as you say, there was MK as well. But there've also been games where the opposition has played quite badly and still managed to get away with a win. And last night's an absolute prime example of that. If you just see that game out and get a 0-0 draw, yeah, we'd still be annoyed at the performance, but at least you're travelling back up the M5 with something in your hands. You've got something to cling on to. But they don't have that ability as a squad to grind out sometimes that draw against a team who are playing badly, and that is costing them as well. I know it's only a point. I'm not saying, oh yeah, it's the be all and end all, but it's a point closer to Cheltenham. It's a point closer to safety, that 50-point mark, if you like. But they don't have the ability to get there.
Grimsby was exactly the same. I thought Grimsby were dreadful, but awful side, and we lost the game 1-0. And again, in some ways, it allows the manager to hide behind this. That yes, we should have had a penalty at the end against Grimsby, and apparently we got an apology, didn't we, from the FA for the fact that Regan was booked for simulation when it was a nailed on penalty. We should have got a penalty in that game. But Grimsby were dreadful. They were dreadful. I don't. They were worse than Cheltenham last night, actually. Um, but these poor sides, yeah, they're beating us. And yeah, it's so true about Rob Apter. I think we all it was almost jokingly how he kept us up last season, but you look at us now and you think, how many points did we get from him? How many points did we get from him? Racing down, cutting inside, left foot inside the near post. So many goals he scored, so many goals he created by causing problems for the opposition. And yeah, I mean, I don't think we could have replaced him like for like. I don't think Patrick has been a terrible signing at all. And I think that on paper, at least, Finley and Norman looked very good League Two signings. I think we've been unlucky with Sam Finley. I think that injury in pre-season, we were unlucky with that. I think you do cut the club some slack there. I think Nigel signed a player there who he thought would be a real general and a leader in midfield from game one. And unfortunately, we missed him for the first 2-3 months of the season. There is some slack to be cut there. Davison, I think, was a punt that just hasn't worked at all. Some of the other signings that we played, the players we've re-signed, again, Harvey Saunders is the hard work argument, and you can't fault Harvey Saunders in terms of his attitude, in terms of his work rate, in terms of wanting to do everything he can for the club, and there's in that respect that I like the lad, but in terms of quality, he's not good enough. He doesn't score enough goals. He doesn't create enough threat. Yes, he can run with the ball, but how often is it down a blind alley? Um, Davison's just been a terrible signing. It was a punt by the manager who knew him obviously at Charlton and thought there's a player still to be had here, but it hasn't worked at all. Um, yeah, it's I'm depressing myself here, Matt, to be honest.